I'm in Glendale, Arizona, and it is hot, hot. But I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Merlin Berg. So in this episode of Mug Shots and Frappuccino, we're going to learn a few things from an old buddy of mine.
Gotta have my coffee.
So it really is Mug Shots and Coffee. So this is my good friend Merlin Berg, and we've worked on a bunch of stuff together, haven't we?
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff together. I can't even remember what we've done together. You know? We keep talking.
Well, no, that's a problem you have. And that's I still remember the problem you got me into. So Merlin is going to share a little bit about his time in Antarctica. Well enough that he can tell me what to do. So we're going to change this from Antarctica to the Navy, because I showed you his Navy lanyard, and now his phone's ringing. So he's a popular guy. Tell us a little bit about your time in the Navy.
Okay, Daniel, it's I joined the Navy in 1962, about 5 days after I got out of high school. I fortunately had an enlistment for, at that time it would have been 3.5 years. And I got to boot camp, and there was a chief petty officer. You know, there's a lot of training in boot camp and that. And he came in and he started talking about the submarines and what a great place it was to be, and what you had to do to get on and all that.
For me, the pitch was, oh, the food is great. You want to do subs, because food is unbelievable. You know what they got you on?
Probably, yeah. But growing up, I watched Run Silent, Run Deep.
Oh, yeah.
I probably saw every episode of that on television. And of course, when the chief got done giving his pitch, I got up and had a talk with him, and before I knew it, I knew I was on the right track, and I could be on submarines. Of course, to make sure that I got on a submarine, I chose a career as a torpedoman on a submarine. I wanted to get on a submarine. That was the most important thing that I did in the Navy.
Explain to them what it is that means if you're a torpedoman. Isn't that like being a frickin' sardine in a can? They just stick you in that little hole in the front of the submarine.
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time in one of those holes. You know, you got to clean them after you flood them with water.
One of the things I want to know is, how was the food?
Well, the food was pretty good. You know, we were fortunate. We would get a lot of fresh vegetables, and the cooks. Well, there's only one cook, but the person that did that was good at preparing the meals and that, and it's never an issue with me anyway.
Well, what subs were you on? Where were you stationed?
Well, I was stationed in Hawaii at Pearl Harbor at the submarine base. And
not the hell across the bay from me.
Well,
you did. What the hell? You nice guy. Doesn't. We're like probably an eighth of a mile apart from each other.
Right. Yeah. Well, there were quite a few people I didn't know that were on the submarine base. I was on 3 different submarines. I started out on the bluegill and got my qualifications. In other words, the little pin that you wear on your uniform is a submarine pin.
Yeah, the little dolphins.
The dolphins, yeah, and I got that on the USS Bluegill. I went to the Cusp. I went there because I wanted to go to Westpac and see the rest of the world. And
okay, this is funny as hell because he's on a submarine, wants to go see the world. They don't show you any of it, do they? I was in a Westpac, but I was above the water, so I got to see the land. What do you mean?
Well, you know, it was, yeah, we were in Westpac, and actually I was there at the beginning of the Vietnam War when the Maddox and Turner Joy were torpedoed by the Chinese, or whether were the North Vietnamese, I guess.
Yeah.
And so we literally left Yokosuka, Japan, and headed south.
You were in Yokosuka as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I had my first Heineken beer in Yokosuka. That was my very first.
I probably did too, Daniel. when you're 19 years old, you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you remember about Japan. Your first beer.
Anyway, we left port immediately and headed south for the Bay of Tonkin, and we're one of the first U.S. Navy ships in the Bay of Tonkin. And,
oh wow!
And later on another boat. Actually, we were off of Hainan Island and got run over by a freighter. And
you got hit by another ship.
Another ship, yeah.
While you were underwater?
Underwater, yeah.
Oh, boy.
We were doing a little spying.
Sneaking around, they didn't know you were down there.
Yeah, and anyway, it was interesting. The conning tower and all the periscopes and that looked more like a pretzel when we got out of the water and we came back to, actually we ended up, we went back to Hawaii and then over to Mare Island where I...
Seriously, Mare Island as well. That's why I went to New Power School.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, before that was shut down. Oh, we were crossing paths all over the place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Funny I didn't get to know you, Dan.
What was really something big that you learned about the Navy?
Well, you know, and when I was in high school, I wasn't really a very good student, and I learned in the Navy about discipline. I went to several Navy schools and really had to press down and force myself to learn the curriculum, or else you were going back to the big ship, and that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on those submarines. Yeah. And so I studied hard, and I learned a lot, and I became, actually in the 3.5 years I was in the Navy, I got out as a second-class petty officer, which was really a very short amount of time. And so I loved every minute of it, really did. And
do you think that discipline and learning habits did well for you for the rest of your life?
Oh yeah, well I got out and I started a community college at Pierce in the Los Angeles area, Pierce Community College. And well, I had a struggle. It was still tough, and I had to really work to get the grades that I needed. And I made a couple quick trips down to Antarctica, but that's another story.
Yeah, we'll tell that one.
And when I came back from Antarctica, I went to Cal Poly at San Luis Obispo and majored in natural resources management and got a bachelor's and then a master's degree in agriculture. So while I had great difficulty in getting good grades in high school, I was able to get a master's degree, and that's probably one of the highlights of my career.
Yeah. Oprah or one of those things, it's like after the show, now he starts telling me the real story. You were a crappy student?
Well, yeah, I had a hard time, and when a friend of mine talked me into, applying for the master's program. At the time at Cal Poly, there were only 4 students in the agriculture program. I thought, what the heck? And so I filled out the application.
And that didn't dawn on you why there were only 4, right?
Well, it was a new program.
Oh, okay. It wasn't that it was that hard.
Yeah. And Anyway, I got over to the dean of the School of Agriculture, and he took a look at my grades in the interview, and he said, "With grades like this, you expect to get into grad school?" And I said, yeah, that's right.
Well, it had to have worked because you got in.
I got in, yeah, I did get
That's
in.
good.
And I had some advocates for me too, and my committee were great instructors, and I had a good relationship with all of them.
As you can see, this guy's quite the character, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Oh yeah,
Berg, B-E-R-G.
right. And the South Pole, we're going to talk about that one.
Okay.
All right. So as you can see, Merlin is just a real hoot, and we're going to get his Antarctica antics in the next episode. So you have questions you want to ask Merlin about life, being a man, growing up, all that kind of stuff, I'd encourage you to both subscribe and join the conversation at 360men.net.